Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Kevin at Sticks and Stones Wood Carving, and today we are going to carving our little wizard here. We're going to make him pretty detailed, and we're going to use all hand tools and a knife. All right, and that's what this video is about. I have been working on that Indian in between making this video. It's snowing like crazy out here now. We're finally getting some snow. So I got nothing else to do but finish up this video. This right here is the other project that I'm doing in between making this video. I'm still painting this Indian. What I did was I gave him a little bit of hair in the back, and that's all I'm pretty much going to do there for him to finish him off. And then I'll give him a little bit of a shine and seal him up, and he'll be ready to go on eBay. And anybody that wants to go on eBay, if you're looking or interested in picking up one of my carvings, like I said, I'm going to start throwing some on when they're ready. I'll let you guys know, and I'll put 4 or 5 on, and if you guys want to go in there and pick up a carving from Sticks and Stones for reference, or just because you happen to like one of the projects we did and you want the finished piece, feel free. I'm definitely not going to complain. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to start working on this guy, and we'll see what else we can do here too. And it's not just with a knife, like I said, it's also using gouges and all the hand tools that we can throw in to try and give you guys a little more experience at such things. And we'll start doing live videos and going step by step and making little simple projects, carving with the hand tools. I just haven't gotten to that yet, but we will, and hopefully I'll be able to start going live soon a lot, and that will save me a lot of editing also. And I do miss talking to everybody and seeing them, but I just got to get done what I can get done, and if I can go live, I will. If I can't, well, I'll make plenty of videos to keep everybody going in the meantime. Okay, so let's get back to this, and we'll see what we can finish up next on this guy. Here we go. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to start cutting this hat out a little bit, or at least forming it before I get too nuts and I start losing all of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my V-tool, and we're going to cut that line in right here. All right, so I'm going to run my V-tool right across that line that I drew. Again, keeping my thumbs together here, using this thumb as a stop, and just kind of making little cuts by just rolling my wrist a little bit. I don't have to go nuts. I definitely don't want to just keep my thumb off there, push, and then ram it into my hand. I do have a lot of boo-boos this week, but none of them are from my knife, believe it or not. Right here I covered this with a Band-Aid earlier in the video because I reached in my box and I ended up poking my skew. It went bam bam twice, and I had a nice little cut, and I just didn't want that to get dirty, so there was a little boo-boo there. Over here I got a splinter, and over here I was reaching in to change a bottle of propane on my heater, and I scraped my hand up here, so I got all these little boo-boos this week. And so sorry about my hands being all boogered up. Glad to say none of them are from me actually carving, but I shouldn't open my mouth too soon because you never know. So wear your glove, because that definitely happens too. All right, I'm also going to reinforce right here underneath while I'm here with my V-tool in my hand. I want to deepen the lines on his mustache here. Okay. Like I said, always using that other thumb. Don't mind my dirty fingernails. They're always dirty. And always keeping control of your tool. All right, and always keeping your hands out of the way. Definitely wear a carving glove. I would not like to see anyone learn their lessons the hard way. Okay. Like I did over the years. But I definitely learned, whether I have one on or not to get my hand in the path of any of these tools if I can help it. I'm going to straighten his mustache out here just a little bit. Again, don't forget, you can always lay your V-tool a little bit on its side and use it as a chisel and shave. Okay, I do that a lot. And it helps smooth down the outside of whatever cut you're making. All right, now that little edge right there, I'll probably take off with my knife. This right here I might just deepen, because I did just show you laying the V-tool on the edge, but I don't really want it that smooth there. I want a deep line. So I'm going almost straight in here, okay? Because I want that mustache to stand high and proud on the outside as well as the inside. All right, what's that? All right, now that we cut this out with our V-tool, let's take this forehead and push it back a little bit. Okay, and again, we're going to do that pretty much straight back at a 45-degree angle in the center here. Okay, and I don't know how deep I'm going to make this or how big of a forehead I want to give him. I might turn that into more hat. Like I said, it depends on how he progresses. But for now, we're going to get some of that wood out of there. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to start tapering it down a little bit on this side and a little bit on this side at a different angle to make that forehead nice and thin at the top. All right, up here, again, you want that plane right there fairly flat. All right, and we'll start shaping that forehead a little bit. On the sides here, it goes 45-degree angle. As we taper down, this side here is the same. Okay. Now, let's get our marker and see about doing some hair before we get too far ahead on the hat here. I think I'm going to come over to about here. We'll cut that out. And we're going to bring a piece down like this. And we'll give him a fairly long hair. I come right up into where I put that hat here. Give it a little bit room for our eye there, but we're going to bring this down pretty good and out, just like that. Okay. Those are two pretty long pieces of hair. I might shorten it maybe. I don't want it that long, I think, because I want to have a little more room for beard there. Kind of angling it down. I don't want them square on the bottom, that's for sure. So we'll scratch that part for now. Let's use our V-tool to cut that in. We're going to start at that line that I cut right there. All right, that I drew. We're going to run it up, right up through all this. Straight in with the V-tool. And we'll cut that piece of that hair in. We'll come over here to this side. We'll do this one. We'll take a couple of cuts there so it's deep. And I'm just going to run it up that line to start everything. And into the top there at the hat. This right here, we'll just shave these other two off so we don't get too confused. And again, at the bottom, I'm going to give it a couple of cuts. This one right here, we'll just do that. Come over here and we'll take this one off. And now we're not confused. And that's where we'll put our hair. Let's try and push that up with a little bit of a removal cut into that stop cut we made with our V-tool, because that's what we're using it for, really. Hopefully I can not dig this up too bad. I'll try and take my time and really look at it so I know where my knife is going in this video. I always end up making 1,000 stop cuts just because I can't see too good from this distance. And I might want to take it down just a little bit more there to get that marker off. Just a little rolling cut here for a minute. Okay. Over here, I'm going to shave this little piece of marker line off. And I'm going to come up just to the top of the forehead here. And we're going to angle that right there, separating this piece right here from the hair. Okay, so I definitely want to put a cut there and a cut there. So when I do run my stop cut up, or my removal cut, when I hit at the top, I can just pop that out. Okay. Anything from there, you just kind of round up and in to clean it up. All right. So now we have his pieces of hair cut in on the sides. All right. Round this over just a little bit, because I do not like sharp edges. All right. So we're just going to knock that edge off a little bit with our knife quick. Just like that. And up here at the top right here, again, I'm going to make that deep right there by the forehead. Come over here, make a little corner cut. It's a V cut, really. 1, 2, right? And then just take just a little piece out there to separate that forehead from that piece of hair. And then again, any marker lines or things that are chipped up or whatever, try to clean up a little bit with your knife. But you want that separation here and over here, just ever so slightly, so that hair separates from the forehead or the face. Right here, there's a little bit of a high spot, so we're going to take that down, let that go under the hair a little more, right at the end of the eye there. And that's where I usually like to take a little scoop of wood out. And right here, this hard line, I'm going to round off just a little bit. Okay. Now his mustache right here, you see this hard line? I'm going to round that over. Take it up under the nose, cleaning that up and trying to make that round. It's just so everything flows nice. And when we add our hair, same thing here, I'm taking the hard line off of that. Don't want that sharp corner. We want to round it over a little. And when we put our hair on, it'll flow a lot easier and be easier to cut in. Okay. So I go around checking and I remove the hard edges, clean everything up before evolving to the next step. Okay. So that's all I'm doing here. Right up here, I would want to make that a little clearer, a little more nice to look at, better transition into everything. So I'm going to clean up around the nose where it goes into that mustache and get a little bit more depth right there in the corner. Same here, right around that nostril, just a little bit, and where it goes into the mustache. And take a little piece of wood out of there. Try and clean that a little bit. Okay. Okay. Now we have his eyes. We got his nose. His nose needs work underneath, that's for sure. We'll have to clean that up. Right here, the septum broke off. I might have to just see what we can wing later on. And right here looks funky, so I'm going to try and adjust that. Sometimes you have a piece break off and it just doesn't work. Other times you can just end up just enough so it will work. I might be able to just make a ball at the end of his nose here and straighten that whole look that I'm not liking out. It's going to depend. We'll see how it progresses as we go. All right. As long as we got the main features in, we should be able to come up with something that is still going to look okay and was fun to carve. So don't mind me cleaning up here. I get a little bit meticulous when I go around, and I start doing way too much cutting, and then it's really not good for a video. That's more for when you're done with the video. All right. Still taking a little bit out over here because I don't like the lumps that I got. All right. If they're working for your carving, keep them. If they're annoying you, clean them up. Any little spots that you don't like, try and stay in the lines you already have cut. And just do a little bit of cleanup to get your lines sharper, deeper, wherever you like. And that's all I'm doing here. Carvings are never really done. I've said this before. They're actually, any artwork, it's never really done to you, the artist. They're actually abandoned. I mean, sooner or later you have to put it down and just say, okay, that's good, because it's never going to be right to you. It's never going to look right. There's always something you can look at that you want to adjust. But to your average person looking at it, they're going to pick it up, look at it, and say, wow, that's neat. They're either going to like it or they're not. But you, as the artist, probably will never be satisfied. And that's a good thing, because that's what keeps us learning, too. Okay? All right. So now we have his haircut in. We're going to work on getting his cheeks down a little bit here. And then we'll start doing some detailing, and we'll figure out what to do with that hat. Okay. Still cleaning him up just a little bit, trying to smooth some of those cuts in. Make sure I like all the little transitions where the mustache is going to meet the face and all that. And just making sure I got it smoothed in those sharp corners. A little bit rounded over before I go to the next step. Like I said, I like to keep it smooth in between as I progress. And that way I get a better idea of where I'm going and what I need to do. Okay. And then by the time my carving's done, I really don't have too much to do as far as sanding goes either. I try not to sand a lot when I'm doing, but I do like to smooth and blend with sandpaper a lot. And I just use 220 on most of my carvings. Sometimes I'll step it up to 350, 300. It depends on what I'm looking for. So I'm kind of liking the way that's looking. So we'll move on from there then. And again, make sure you brush off the sand grit after you do use sandpaper, if you do. All right, let's decide where we're going to put these cheeks. I think we're going to just come right about here. All right. Something like this. Maybe down a little bit more. And we're going to take some wood out underneath those. Okay. And get that face to narrow down some. I hate using this marker because I keep ending up cutting and going with all the sandpaper all the time. But that's pretty much what I have to do in a video to show you guys, I guess. So that's what we'll do. So where I drew those lines right there, they don't have to be set in stone, but I do want to stay a little below the nose here. And I'm going to take some of this wood out here. And again, keep your fingers out of the way, go slow. You definitely don't want to push hard, go off the wood and whack your hand. All right, and we're just going to make a little scoop here. Just like that, we'll check it out. And take a little bit more over here by the hair and underneath that. So that little cheek starts forming there. And again, I like to keep this underneath the nose, not go up too high into the face up here. Okay. Some little light cuts, try and get it to flow down, and we'll add some beard hair to that when we're all done. And we start putting the beard in. So we want to make a little hollow spot there. Just like that. We're going to come over here to this side. We're going to try and make it pretty much the same. As much as we can anyway. And if they're not quite perfect, don't worry about it. It'll just give him a little character. But we do want to take some wood out there. Just like that. Then we'll check it and we'll see what that looks like after we blend this all together here. And that won't look too bad. That'll transition into the face rather nicely, I think. Just a little more here. Make sure we can make that smooth so we can start running hair down and off of this side of the carving here. Okay. So that right there gets our cheeks cut in. And then we can even add some hard lines underneath that to get a little bit more shadow with our detail knife if we want. Just by taking a little bit of wood out there, a little chip. And we'll see if we can get those to pop out a little bit even more. Okay, and whatever doesn't blend too easy, we'll just fix up. But I do want to get a little bit of shadow underneath there, especially here and where the hair starts going down. That's where I want to take a chip out to get that shadow and that cheek appearing to go under the face there. And if the edge is a little hard, again, we round that off. Oops. That's going to be a tough one. Gotta get that out. There we go. Okay, so we're getting a little shadow under there now. It's a little hard to get in there with the knife. I might take my little skew, my little dockyard skew. Okay, and I'm gonna try and get that with that. Sometimes these little tools are really nice because you can get in those little spots that the handle of your knife isn't allowing you to get. Okay, and I'll try and clean that up with some of these little guys later on. Because right here is going to be a trouble spot, I could tell. All right, he's a little bit dug up in there, but that's okay. We have the tools to fix it up. All right, same over here. I'm just going to make sure that it transitions pretty nice. And if I want to do, hold on a sec. I don't know if my wood burner was on or what. I smelled something burning for a second. I think somebody's burning firewood outside, though. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to try and just get a little more shadow right here. See that V-cut? Okay. This side's a little easier for me, probably because I'm right-handed. Could take a chip out there and this little sliver of wood out right here, and we can start getting that shadow underneath that cheek a little bit better. All right, and then we can transition all that in as we shave our marker line off here by rounding it down from the top just a little. And I can even cut a little bit more under the face on that side, making it go up and under that hairline. Just trying to explain little bitty tips and processes that I go through when I'm making a carving anyway. You don't have to do all this. You could just pop some simple cheeks in him and be happy, Okay, so now we have a little bit of shadow there. I'm kind of liking the way that looks. This might be a little high compared to this side, but that'll work. Now, what are we going to do with this hat? I don't know. I'm also going to round this right here for a minute. Again, because I like those smooth transitions from one plane to another. And when I sand that all together, which, like I said, sometimes I will use sandpaper. I'm not ashamed, as long as it looks good to me. I know there's some knife carvers out there that cringe when you get out a piece of sandpaper, because every cut should be a finished cut and all that. Yeah, I know. But it's my wizard. That's like my little Indian, I made when I started painting this guy, I showed him the Rob, Just Carve Rob. And I said, hey, did you ever see an Indian with blue eyes? I just happen to like the look. He's my carving. He's art, And sure enough, there's going to be somebody that makes a comment, unless I mention it in this video. Indians don't have blue eyes. Well, mine does. And I kind of like them. So, If you want an Indian with brown eyes, you feel free to go make your own. But that's my Indian. That's the way he stays. You know, I'm not going to stress over little things like that. Art is art. If it looks good to you, like I said, it's your carving. Have fun with it. And if anything, it makes him look different than everybody else's Indian. All right? So, don't really care about that kind of stuff. What I care about is what it looks like to me. Did I have fun doing it? Does he look good? I'm not really going to worry about the color of his eyes. All right? And I'm not going to worry about if I use sandpaper to smooth my basswood carving down or my hand tool carving. As long as the effect is he looks okay to me and other people like him, and hopefully he's got a little bit of saleability if I want to sell him. So don't stress over the little things, guys. It's your art, no one else's. They don't have to live with it. Okay. Now, this hat. Should we get our marker out for that? Should we wing it? What should we do? Again, we're going to make a floppy type of hat. So, might bring this down. And we are going to fold the tip over. All right. We might fold this. Maybe I'll bring this up higher. As high as I can. Fold this tip over, but pretty long. All right. And make him a little bit skinnier here like that when we go down and around. Might make him skinny like this, actually. Yeah, I like that a little better. And we'll do something like that with this guy. I know, when I draw, I confuse the hell out of myself, let alone everybody else. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to scoop it here. I like that little animation there. So in other words, all of this will come out. All right, leaving that cut. That's going to be the shape. We're going to take it as high up as we can. And we're going to swoop it on this side down. And then we'll try to go around the back of the carving on this one. But for now, even though this is my detail knife, I'm going to use it to start getting that shape that I want. So at least I know where I'm going with the hat before I go too much further. So I'm going to cut the pieces out that I want. Like that. Okay. And we'll bring this right around the back. Make them a little easier to handle and to trim down. Okay, there's still a little over here we're going to have to take down. And we'll keep taking that down. And right here, before I take that corner off, I'm going to start cutting that little piece there out. So then I get the idea of how to scoop and keep that little line that we drew in, because I'd have to bring that all the way around to get that effect. Okay, so now I know about where to scoop, and I can bring it to the back a little bit more, around the back. All right, this side right here needs to come in just a little bit. I should get my rough out knife for this. Okay, when that comes down here, all you gotta do is just keep re-putting your line on if you have to. Excuse me. And you'll pretty much keep the shape that you're going for and use that as a guide until you get to certain areas, so you don't lose where you're going with your carving. And you work it around. When you get so far, then you can actually, start bringing this tip, that way too. And once you take that piece out, then you just kind of finish shaping the whole thing. But For now, there's a lot of wood here I gotta get rid of, and I think I'm gonna strop my knife a little bit since I'm only using the detail knife for this. So hold on a sec. After, like I said, after so many minutes of carving, 10 to 15 minutes, you should always strop that knife again. If you feel that it's just not cutting clean for you, all right, or it feels like it's got any drag or you're leaving any marks that it shouldn't be, always make sure you go back and strop that knife. Now I'm going to keep shaping this as I go, but then I'm going to go down, I'm going to cut the hat out just a little bit more on the bottom so his hair sticks out. And once I get this so far in, we'll run a stop cut. And we'll take that point of the hat down in the back also. Okay. But down in here, I want that hair to stick out. All right. So I'm going to make me a small cut coming around the back of the carving a little bit. Just like that. And give myself a nice little depression there so that hair, that tuft of hair sticks out. And we can have the hat kind of going around the back. Same right here. I'm going to come up to where his hat is. Going to make a little V-cut. We're going to make it a little deep there, and so that tuft of hair sticks out. Okay? And now that'll be easy to differentiate, you know, where the hair and the hat actually meet. And the hair goes under the hat. All right? Still working this. I'm going to shimmy around to the back here. And the thinner I get that, the more manageable it will be. Boy, it's snowing like crazy here. Where's Just Carve Rob? Rob, come, plow me out. I know you got the tools, Rob. Not looking forward to driving this. My daughter's at work, and I'm going to have to go get her. It's a good thing I got a Subaru. I do like that Subaru, though. It does go through anything, I got to admit. Okay. His hat's starting to shape up. We will shave all this off eventually. All right, and we'll round everything back. It's got a little bit more work to do, but it won't be too bad. So I'm going to shape that up a little bit more off camera so we don't waste film, and then we'll be back.